Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भगवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिके. Today we'll be discussing about discussing from Bhagavad Gita 6.8, chapter 6, verse number 8. Chapter title is Dhyano Jaga. Let's see. ज्ञान विज्ञान तृप्तात्मा कूटस्थ विचितेन्द्रियः युक्त इति उचित योगी शमूलस्त्र अस्म कंचनः. ज्ञान विज्ञान तृप्तात्मा कूटस्थ विचितेन्द्रियः युक्त इति उचित योगी सोमलस्त्र अश्म कांचनः. Word by word meaning. Jnana, by acquired knowledge. Vijnana, and realized knowledge. Tripta, satisfied. Atma, a living entity. Kutasthaha, spiritually situated. Vijita indriyaha, sensually controlled. Yuktaha, competent for self-realization. Iti, thus, uchyate, it said. Yogi, a mystic. Sama, equipoised. Lostra, pebbles. Ashma, stone. Kanchanaha, gold. Translation. A person is said to be established in self-realization and is called a yogi or mystic when he is fully satisfied by virtue of acquired knowledge and realization. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. He sees everything, whether it be pebbles, stones, or gold, as the same. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Book knowledge without realization of the supreme truth is useless. This is stated as follows. अथ श्री कृष्ण नामादि न भवेत् ग्रह्यम् इंद्रियः सेवन्मुखे हि जीवादौ स्वयं एव स्फुरते देयः. No one can understand the transcendental nature of the name, form, quality, and pastimes of Sri Krishna, though his materially contaminated senses. Only when one becomes spiritually saturated by transcendental service to the Lord is the transcendental name, form, quality, and pastimes of the Lord revealed to him. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.234. The Bhagavad Gita is the science of Krishna consciousness. No one can become Krishna conscious simply by mundane scholarship. One must be fortunate enough to associate with a person who is in pure consciousness. A Krishna conscious person has realized knowledge by the grace of Krishna because he is satisfied with pure devotional service. By realized knowledge, one becomes perfect. By transcendental knowledge, one can remain steady in his convictions. But by mere academic knowledge, one can be easily deluded and confused by apparent contradictions. It is the realized soul who is actually self-controlled because he is surrendered to Krishna. He is transcendental because he has nothing to do with mundane scholarship. For him, mundane scholarship and mental speculation, which may be as good as gold to others, are of no greater value than pebbles or stones. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकय चक्षुर्मृतं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपं कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुवैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्ण पादं सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते. तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानो सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्राय सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you for joining today's Bhagavad Gita class. So today is a wonderful day, and today is the second day of our Lord Jagannath staying in the Gundicha temple in Jagannath Puri. So we believe that when lordships are Lord Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra are in Gundicha temple, they're enjoying the Vrindavan mellows, and they're very happy, they're very pleased. And any devotional service we do these 9 days, basically they get amplified. So today, we are assembled here to discuss the beautiful subject matter of Dhyana Yoga, one of the first over here. And my knowledge is pretty limited, but with all of your blessings and my Guru and Gauranga's blessing, I will try to glorify the subject matter based on my limited knowledge. So please forgive me if I don't utter any appropriate word, or if I do some kind of offenses. Please forgive me. I am asking all of your blessing and forgiveness from the beginning itself. So here, if we see, Krishna is focusing about few words. They are Jnana Vijnana, then they are like equipoise, like Somo Lastra, Ashma Kanchana. Then later on in the purport, Prabhupada says about Sebanmukhi hi Jivado, and then he's saying how this this script, this knowledge, this acquired this like material knowledge is kind of for this mundane scholarship kind of just like that, and how the acquired knowledge and the realized knowledge, how they are different, and how transcendental service to the Lord is the best, then is best than everything. So let's go deep into the verse. Now in the previous verse, Krishna, like yesterday we discussed, the Krishna says about the person who connect to the supreme soul, super soul. How do they connect to the super soul? By controlling the mind, basically by jitat manaha. Krishna says in the particular word he is used in the last verse 6 or 7, that the person is jitat manaha. He has controlled his mind. Then later he is saying what is the characteristics of the person, like sita ushna sukho dukhedu tatha mana apamanaha. These are the characteristics Krishna is saying about the person who can connect with him. Basically, the person is not affected by cold, heat, happiness, distress, honor, and dishonor. Now, Krishna further expanding the characteristics here more detail into the subsequent verses of 6.8 and 6.9. So let's go deep into the 6.8. In 6.8, if we see here, the first verse says the Jnana Vijnana. So Jnana and Vijnana, basically in the Bhagavad Gita multiple times it has been referred. Now, if we see in Bhagavad chapter 3 also, there is a reference to the Jnana Vijnana also. How the Jnana and Vijnana can be like it can affect you also. Like how the material lost, because of the material lost, both the Jnana and Vijnana both are destroyed. So what is Jnana? Jnana is basically a acquired theoretical knowledge. So what is Vijnana? Vijnana is basically the realized knowledge. So when we hear something, when we just contemplate into it and it enters into our head, then it is called Jnana. It stays over there. So from when it stays over there, basically it's kind of like we're keeping it in mind. It stays in that level. But when we apply it, basically when it enters to our heart, from mind when it enters to our heart, this is called Vijnana. So basically, Jnana is basically our theoretical knowledge, and Vijnana is basically our realized knowledge or kind of a practical knowledge. So Jnana refers to the knowledge of a self as distinguished from non-self, or in other words, it's the other way. Like the knowledge, because the knowledge is that the spirit soul is not the body. What we say, that you are not the body, you are the soul. So here we say that spirit soul is not the body. That is basically our Jnana. Vijnana is the other thing. Vijnana refers to the specific knowledge of the relationship between the soul and the super soul. It says what is the constitutional position of the soul and what is the constitutional position of the super soul and what is the relationship between them. Basically, Jivera Swarupa Krishna Nitya Das. That is basically, and we render devotional service in that so that we can understand the Supreme Personal Godhead. That is basically the Vijnana of the concept of the Vijnana. So now, Jnana means, we need some level of understanding at the theoretical level. That is also important. But with simply, Jnana, we don't get satisfaction. Somebody will tell me there's Rasgulla, there is yellow Rasgulla, then there is pink Rasgulla are there. Then inside the yellow Rasgulla, we have a cardamom seed. We know that because this is called Rajbhog. And there is a pink Rasgulla, that's with some other name. But with that, we don't get satisfaction. Unless we prepare it and offer to the Lordship and honor it, we don't get that kind of satisfaction. So basically, with only Jnana, we don't get the satisfaction. So Jnana is not only enough, but however, both Jnana and Vijnana both are needed. Without Jnana, only with Vijnana, you cannot do anything. So Scriptural knowledge is always important, but how to apply that knowledge, that is also more important. So if we see that, we can analyze when we are going from one place to another place these days, like we are having, we can use the Google Map. Then we have which we like, in the phone we set up the map. It says us, yeah, go this way, go that way. But if we are not familiar with, we don't know how to use it, then that map is useless. So I remember when I remember the instance when I was learning initially beginning with the GPS. The GPS will, if you are not familiar with the road, if you are not familiar with the what the map is saying, like turn left or turn right. Sometimes it will tell, after this, after after 2 mile, turn to the left, take the leftmost lane. It says like that. But if we don't follow it properly, if we don't apply it, if we don't understand how to do it, we get confused. Similarly, the doctors give us a lot of prescriptions when we are sick. Like there are so many prescriptions during COVID time. We all knew that knowledge that, yeah, we have to take that hot water, then we have to take, we have to inhale, some kind of herbal water, and then we have to basically wash our hands frequently. So all those things we know. Yeah, these are theoretical knowledge. But if we don't apply them, we don't apply them, like we don't wash hands frequently, or we don't take this kadha and all those things, we will be like, we'll be facing COVID, or we'll be facing something. So basically we have to apply this. Till we don't apply, we won't get the 100% benefit of it. Suppose, these days there are lot of, roti making machines are there. So sometimes when the machine, sometimes we buy a machine and you become very happy, yeah, I have a roti making machine, or I have a donut making machine, I'll be very happy that I'm going to eat a donut every day. So basically there will be manual of it. You read the manual, yeah, you are very yeah, I know how to make a donut. But are we happy with that? No, we are not happy with that. Till we don't mix the dough and put it in the donut maker, it doesn't come out. And we don't, after when it comes out practically, then we know it 100%. That 100% that, yeah, yeah, this is the steps to do it, and this is how I did it. So that's how we see that how the jnana and vijnana are related to each other. So basically with vijnana you get 100% satisfaction and knowledge. So Srila Prabhupada always emphasized to us that we all should read shastras. Often we say that, sometimes we see there is a contradiction is also there, that with too much knowledge people get puffed up. People get, they basically read so much shastras and shastras, but they don't do devotional service. They are little bit, deviation over there. So in those cases, we see there is a contradiction. Sometimes with a simple faith, lot of stories we hear that a person has a very simple faith on Krishna, and he's getting Krishna. He is not scripturally very strong, the person, but at the end he is able to follow. He is able to, due to his simple faith. If he without knowledge also, he is attaining the supreme power and Godhead. But Srila Prabhupada has always emphasized us to have both faith and philosophy. He wants all of us to be a wonderful devotee, wonderful gentlemen and ladies, by having constant faith on Krishna, and side by side reading the scriptures, so that later on if somebody challenges us, we will be able to, our faith is not going to be deviated. So both faith and philosophy are pretty important. Now the second word here Krishna is saying truptatma. So what is truptatma? Truptatma means, person is very, very satisfied. So how a person is very satisfied? We saw earlier that when a person is having a knowledge, he is not 100% satisfied. But when he has both the acquired knowledge and the realized knowledge, then only he is satisfied. So the person who has both the knowledge and the realization, he is called a truptatma. So basically in this Kali Yuga, we all are actually atruptatma. Neither we have 100% knowledge, neither we are realized souls. So but we always try to become truptatma. How to do? By doing the devotional service. But while doing the devotional service, sometimes the problem happens. We will be doing devotional service, we'll be doing some kind of service, and all of a sudden the hankering for a post will come in the mind. We'll think that, yeah, I am doing so much devotional service, but nobody's appreciating me. I came for garland making from last 5 days, but when the festival happens, they did thanks to everybody. They did not utter my name. So why should I come and do? I did so much pot cleaning that Prabhu and Mataji are doing all high-end services, but I did so much pot cleaning, so much heavy work I did. Now this Rathatra is coming. They are inviting for this cambryo cleaning, and I'm doing so much work, but I'm not getting any recognition. So then these anarthas come into mind. So one devotee once asked His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj that Maharaj, I feel very sad and sorry that I'm doing so much services, but the temple management is not appreciating me. Then Bhakti Charu Maharaj looked at the devotee and answered very nicely. I still remember that one. That how about this? That you will be doing some services, everybody is going to appreciate you, the whole world is going to appreciate you, that Mr. So and so, you are such a good devotee and you are 100% doing wonderful job, you are the best of everything, everybody are getting appreciate you, but Krishna is not going to appreciate you. And next situation is, you are doing same services and nobody is appreciating you, but Krishna is telling you, my son, I am very pleased with you, so what do you want? So the devotee understood that we should do the devotional service for the pleasure of Krishna, not for the pleasure of ourselves. So Krishna is watching us and we should be happy while doing devotional service because we are doing it for Krishna. So then by doing the devotional service, we will become Triptatma. Often our initial days, when Srila Prabhupada was preaching, Prabhupada will be traveling all around the world. So one devotee asked him, so Prabhupada, how do I know that you are not here? I'm not seeing you, but how do you know, I know that you are happy with my services. So Prabhupada responded to him, if you are following my instruction, I'm very much pleased. You do not need any external checkpoint. So basically, we should follow Prabhupada's instruction through the books, and that way our Srila Prabhupada will be pleased. Once Srila Prabhupada is pleased, Krishna is pleased. When both our Guru and Krishna are pleased, then automatically we will become a Truptatma. Otherwise, we will be always hankering for some kind of recognition or some kind of false ego. Then the next word, then the next thing Krishna is saying, Kutastha Vichitendriyaha. Vichitendriya means one who has conquered all his senses, all his minds. And Kutastha means transcendentally situated. Basically, the transcendental position is pretty high. So when one has this kind of activity, characteristics, the person is situated high and he has already conquered his senses. Previous verse also we saw that Krishna is saying Jitendriyaha, and here he is saying Vijitendriyaha. Now the devotee has conquered all his senses. Now in the verse, Krishna is saying that na bhavet grahyam indriyaha seban mukhe hi jibhado. So then this, what does the seban mukhe hi jibhado means? Basically, we have so many sense organs are there. Out of this, the jiva, the tongue, is very, very powerful. In tongue, we can do two things. We can eat so many things, and we can either talk so many, so many nonsense things or unavoidable things, or we can speak, we can glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So tongue is very, very powerful. It's very, very powerful than any other organs. So here we see the pictures that Srila Prabhupada is giving the cookies to the devotees, and Srila Prabhupada along with the devotees is chanting. So basically a pure devotee, who is a pure devotee, when he opens his mouth, only Harinam will come or only glorification will come. There is no kind of any mundane talk, any kind of prajalpa, nothing will come. And he is always will be honoring prasadam, not eating on any kind of unavoidable matters. So always he is offering prasadam, preparing prasadam in a proper conscious mood, then offering it, then distributing it. So basically, this is the by doing this, the person is basically conquering his senses. So once this tongue is controlled, basically there are two things that are controlled. Basically, how your diet is controlled, then your chanting habit is controlled. So basically, we cannot realize Supreme Personality Godhead by any kind of artificial means. We must engage faithfully in a loving service of the Lord, like in the picture here. Such service begin with the tongue, which means that we should always chant the holy name of the Lord and accept Krishna Prasadam, nothing else. We should not eat or accept anything other than that. In situations, sometimes we are outside, we have to eat. Those times with exceptions, we can offer those materials in our mind and we can honor it. When this kind of practices we follow, then Prabhupada says that definitely Krishna is going to reveal to us. Now the next one, the last sentence Prabhupada is Krishna is here, emphasizing is Soma Lastrasma Kanchanaha. This particular verse, this particular sentence means he sees everything. Sama means he sees everything, whether it is a pebble, whether it is a stone, or whether it is gold, is the same. So Prabhupada is addressing this particular verse to the Gyanis or the academic scholars. In this, if you see in the purport, Prabhupada is very strongly saying the book knowledge without realization of the supreme truth is useless. Basically, everybody should attempt to understand, everybody should attempt to have a realization. Not only just study. Basically, you have to have a practical experience. Without practical experience, everything is useless. So basically, we see that knowing about God, and knowing God. So knowing about God is theory. We know that Lord Jagannath loves Khaja. In the theory, we know that he loves Khaja, but we don't know anything. If we really know what is Lord Jagannath, on a Rathatradi or any day, we will prepare Khaja. We say that when like in summertime, we have to apply Chandan to Krishna. Basically, this is in theory. But when we are realized, we could feel that Krishna is feeling hot. So in Chandan Yatra, we apply Chandan. If we see scriptures, Madhavendra Puri came all the way from Vrindavan to Jagannath Puri to collect sandalwood, so that he is going to apply sandalwood to Krishna, so that Krishna is going to feel cold. Often we see that by academic knowledge, one gets confused and one gets deluded by the apparent contractions. Sometimes we see that there are so many mathematical formulas are there. If somebody is doing a higher study, the mathematical formulas, like in the students' case, there are calculus and calculus 2 are there. Sometimes if we don't read sequentially, if we don't break the formulas, step by step, we get confused. There are so many formulas, we get confused. So we have to apply that. I have to go from step A to step B. I have to use formula 1. From step B to step C, I have to apply the formula 2. So if we don't apply our academic knowledge, we get confused, and then the contradiction also starts. Then there is another example also is there. Often, if we mix two colors, if we mix yellow and blue, we get a color of green. Suppose there is a blue color is there is a yellow color is there is a green color is there. So till you don't mix your paintbrush with a blue and a yellow, you won't get green color. So if somebody will tell you, yellow and blue and green are there, you get confused at the end. Just now I saw blue and now it became green. So till you don't do this practical work for yourself by mixing blue and yellow, you won't get green color. So similarly, this academic knowledge, by too much academic knowledge, and if we don't practice it, if we don't we don't realize it or apply it, we become little bit confused. We become confused. So Prabhupada here says that one gets deluded and confused by apparent contradictions. Now, if we see now, in spiritual path, there are two obstacles we always get: the desire and the doubt. So desire is basically associated with the karmis, like desire to have something extra, desire to have an additional car, desire to have jewelries. These are the karmis desire. Then there are doubts. The gyanis, like they will read something, they will have a doubt. Oh, this could have done in a different way. I read something else is there. This Maharaj is saying in a different way. In ISKCON, I heard this. In some other sampradaya, I heard this. So they have doubts. So this desire and doubts both are two obstacles. So basically, I was listening to Chaitanya Charan Prabhu one day. He was describing about this desire and how the doubt are, affect our devotional service. So basically, the desire originates from our mind and entrapped our karmi mentality, and the doubt originates from our intelligence and entrapped our jnani. So basically, both this desire and doubt we have to surrender. In Bhagavad Gita 8.7, Krishna says, "Mai arpita mana buddhi." That means, with your activities dedicated unto me and your mind and intelligence fixed unto me, you will definitely get me without any doubt. So both our doubt and desire, we have to surrender to Krishna. And then Prabhupada is describing here how this transcendental knowledge, how this about the Supreme Person of Godhead is inconceivable. Basically, our knowledge is very, very limited. When there is a nice kirtan is going on, or when there is a nice Mahaprasad feast is going on, if somebody asks us how it is, we say it's sumptuous Mahaprasad feast. The vocabulary which we use is very, very limited. Our vocabulary is very, very limited. But the prasadam, the Mahaprasadam is much more higher than that. Like when Narad Muni honored little bit, like morsel of Narad Muni ate prasadam from Vaikuntha from Madalakshmi, the Krishna prasadam. Narad Muni was so ecstatic. He danced around the three world. That much prasadam was the power of the prasadam. Then he came to Lord Shiva and he gave him a little bit of morsel of prasad. By honoring that prasad, Lord Shiva also started dancing. So with our mundane mindset, with our limited knowledge, with these finite words, we cannot describe the transcendental thing. So Prabhupada here often gives the example of a Mr. Frog. The frog is staying inside a frog, inside a small well, and thinks that I'm the king over here, and he cannot imagine that there could be another frog in the Atlantic city could be bigger than him. So what he does, he tries to expand him, and finally bursts because he cannot comprehend that how big could be Atlantic Ocean by staying inside the limited small well. So similarly, with this kind of awkward knowledge, without any practical applications, we kind of get confused and we get diluted, and thus our situation, the scientist situation, becomes just like this frogs. Now here, the word soma lostrosma kanchanaha, that means a realized soul, he sees everything, whether it is pebbles, stones, or gold, as the same. He is always equiposed. Now, when Lord Ram, Lord Ram, conquered over to Lankapuri, and he rescued Mother Sita and came back to Ayodhya, then he started the coronation ceremony. After the coronation ceremony, everybody was sitting down, Lord Rama was happily looking at Hanumanji, and he announced that whoever we are very thankful to them. And there are a lot of gifts were exchanging between Lord Ram and to all the associates. So then Hanuman, to Hanuman, Lord Ram asked, Hanuman, do you need anything? You help me. Without you, nothing is possible. Hanuman told, no, I don't need anything. I have you. I don't need anything. I'm very happy whatever I am. I will always like to sit in next to lotus feet. So Mother Sita, as a mother, she is very, very compassionate. So first she did it. She removed a pearl necklace from her neck, and she gave it to Hanuman as a prize, as a loving exchange. She gave it to Hanumanji. So Hanuman accepted it since Mother Sita is giving. He accepted it. So then after some time, everybody saw that Hanumanji is biting to each and every pearl, and he is throwing it, and he is biting it, opening it, and seeing it, and getting dejected and throwing it. Then all the residents of Ayodhya who were sitting in the on the near the assembly, they are thinking, whatever it is, a monkey will be always a monkey. So we heard that he did so much work, but look, now he is having into this monkey habit. It will never change. The monkey will be always a monkey. Then Rama also was surprised. Lord Ram asked, Hanuman, what are you doing? Why are you breaking each and every pulse here? Then Hanuman responded, I was saying that this Paul is useless for me because I don't keep anything where you are not inside that. Then everybody were kind of surprised that we understand inside that Paul Ram is not there, but what about you? Your body is there. Your body is covered by the soul. How are you carrying the body? That inside that your Lord Ram is not there. So Hanuman was very smart. He told, and intelligent. He told, I can prove that inside me also Ram is there. Otherwise, I won't survive in this world. So immediately Hanuman opened his chest, and everybody could see Ram and Sita in them. So basically, then Lord Ram was so happy. He asked Hanuman, I cannot give you anything to you as a gift other than myself. So he embraced Hanuman after that. So from this, we can see that since Hanuman is a realized soul, this small pearls, pearls or stone or gold, he's treating everything is same, because for him everything is without any value, because he's Aradhya Lord Sri Ram, and Sita is not inside that. That's basically he is at a higher transcendental position. Now, how to achieve this kind of transcendental position? By Prabhupada here in this purport, he says, by constantly rendering devotional services, one gets a higher test, and he actually basically he becomes he can, when he gets a higher test, all the lost and desire it wipes out, and he can connect to Supreme Person and Godhead. So when Krishna came as Gorasundar in Jagannath temple, when Ratha Yatra was happening, before Ratha Yatra, this Gundicha temple is in kind of not clean condition. So he was cleaning every day for 4-5 days. He was cleaning during the Annavasar period, along with his devotees, devotees and associates, so that when Jagannath comes, he will be sitting peacefully and everything will be pleasant to him. So he was rubbing, and basically when we are doing it, all these slowly, he was saying, the more and more dirt you are accumulating, that many anarthas you are basically removing out from our heart. So that's why our acharyas always mention us to do Gundicha Marjanam, basically to do this kind of devotional service, so that our temple is clean, our house is clean, and our heart is clean. So then only we can attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we can connect with Him by this, and we will be developing slowly these characteristics which are mentioned in 6.7 and 6.8. So with this, I would like to end this today's discussion here. If I have uttered any kind of inappropriate, like my thoughts or anything, please excuse me for that. So now we can, maybe I would like to hear from some of you any realizations or any comments or any corrections or any reflections if you have. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, anyone has any realizations, maybe they can unmute and share. Simeswar Prabhu, if you can share something.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mataji. Such a wonderful class, such a wonderful realizations, explaining such a nice way the difference between Gyan and the Vigyan. Yes, that's a point. It's you explain it very well, very nicely, how we can have the realized knowledge. I mean, you yourself exemplifying it, right? I know that you are having such a taste for devotional service as well as engaging others in the service for the lordships. That's a perfect realization. That's wonderful, and that I could see that, I could felt that, is coming out from that realized soul. That what is the Vigyan, what is the realized knowledge? Because it's very clear that Srila Rupa Goswami mentioned that ignorance is our root cause of our suffering. So unless and until we understand this transcendental subject matter, till that time we will be suffering in this world. So like even our scripture says that, right? So please lead me from this ignorance to the knowledge. Asatoma Satgamaya.
Yes.
Tamasoma Jyodirgamaya. Right? Tamasoma, from this darkness. And yeah, when such a wonderful explanation, such a nice way. We took each point, each and every word of the words, and explained that in such a nice way. Thank you so much, Mother. Very nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So anybody has any other comments, reflections, or any realizations?
Prabhuji, I have one question for you here.
Yes.
So this Jnana and Vijnana, right? Is there a sequence? I do Vijnana and then can I get Jnana? So that is my main question here. Is there a sequence which I can follow? Because I have, in my Krishna consciousness, I have done Vijnana and then I'm getting Jnana. So, what Prabhuji is doing, let me follow that exactly what he's doing. I don't know what is the Jnana behind it, but I just want to follow the steps. I want to do the practical first. And then Jnana would slowly come. It will come from the devotees, it will come from reading the scriptures, because scriptures are so huge. I cannot read the scriptures, but what Prabhuji is doing, I want to exactly follow that. So that is what I had been doing Krishna conscious. And I feel that slowly I'm getting Jnana. So I was not attending Bhagavad Gita in this because I am very new. I started reading first Bhagavatam only. I was reading Bhagavatam through, Govardhan Prabhuji's forum. And now slowly, that Jnana was coming. I thought, okay, now is the time that actually, I know the sequence is first read Bhagavad Gita, then get exposed to Bhagavatam. But, I was not following the sequence. Now slowly I've changed this. And, I've been going to temples, following what devotees are doing. I want to exactly mimic the same thing. And I'm following the same thing, what is happening in my house now. Doing puja. So, for me, Vijnana has first taken the prime focus, and then slowly, I'm now trying to get Jnana. When it comes to Jagannath, the Rath Yatra also, yes, as Mataji was saying, that it is the second day. So slowly I'm getting this jnana. I don't know why Lord Jagannath has gone to Gundicha temple, what is happening there and all that. So, so this is the thing I was trying to understand.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Yeah, basically, Prabhuji, it depends. Like if we see our friends, Srila Prabhupada initially started the movement, there the devotees who are there all were hippies. They are basically they neither had any jnana, neither they had any vigyan. So, but they totally, they were kind of surrendered to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, whatever was doing, they tried to follow him. So Prabhupada told that follow ABCD, association, books, chanting, and diet. So they followed that. So basically, so then slowly by doing that, your taste bud, our taste, our like our taste bud, that of whatever they like bad taste we have, it goes. Then they were able to understand the Shastra. They were able to understand why Prabhupada was telling him to do like this. So that way, the practical knowledge, and then the theoretical knowledge was helping. But in some fortunate cases, like the devotional families, like when, for example, like Prahlad Maharaj. When Prahlad Maharaj was in the mother's womb, he already got the theoretical knowledge. He already got the knowledge. Already knew that Krishna is the supreme person Godhead, and what is the relationship of him and Krishna. So he knew that from the mother's womb. So that he had actually pretty knowledge. Then when he came out, he did the practical application. He did it, and when he went to Gurukul, he was telling to his friends that Krishna is the supreme person Godhead. And when Hiranyakashipu was telling him that tell that I am the God, he could do this because he has the realized knowledge. He could defy it. So that way he could like use the sequence wise the jnana and then the vijnana. Then there are some fortunate families and fortunate devotees are there that took birth in a devotee family. So when they are born in a devotee family, they see the parents are in the beginning itself, they're reading Shastras. So by looking at the parents, and then the child also automatically, he goes through the Shastra, he reads it. In the mornings, he wakes up and does chanting, he reads Bhagavad Gita. He comes to know that, parents tell them, Prabhupada has told that Bhagavad Gita is for the beginners, then Srimad Bhagavatam is for basically is the BTech level, and Srimad Bhagavatam is the MTech level, and Chaitanya Charitamrita is the PhD level. Basically, if you don't understand these two, you won't be able to understand the perfect loving melody of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Otherwise, you'll feel what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is doing. He is just dancing in front of Lord Jagannath like a crazy man. You'll think and you will be committing offenses. So basically, go step by step, step by step. That's what actually Prabhupada used to tell. But either way, I think it should be okay, Prabhu. Though either way you are following, and if you are able to get closer to Krishna, I think that should be good with you. Maybe Shimashra Prabhu, if you can add more to it.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Yes, you explained very well, nicely, that what is the real importance of the real importance of bhakti. Even knowledge is mentioned in the previous chapter also, right, Prabhuji? That more knowledge is needed that leads to the bhakti. Knowledge is necessary to lead to the bhakti. I mean, if it doesn't lead to the bhakti, then there is no use of knowledge. So the bhakti is the most, service is the most, service is the top. Service is Krishna himself. It's also mentioned that by the mercy of Krishna, we get a guru. And by the mercy of a guru, we get Krishna. So there is no sequence for Gyan or Vigyan. So it's also Srila Rupa Goswami very well establishing that principle also. Ada Sri Krishna Namadi na bhavet na indriya sevan mukhohi jikhvadu swayam eva spiratiyat. That's what is you are on the stage now. You mentioned that, by this bhakti, by this devotion, you are getting the taste. Yes, that's the same. Ada Sri Krishna Namadi na bhavet na indriya. We cannot perceive the Supreme Lord by the blunt senses, material senses, na bhava, na indriya. But sevonmukha, but by the loving devotional service, sevonmukha jihvadu, by utilizing our icha, our jihva to the service of the Lord. And swayam eva spiritiya, the Lord will reveal himself. And I know that there are many gurus, many sadhus, babajis. They don't have much knowledge. Even if you go to Vrindavan or in any places, they may be just, maybe They may not even know how to write proper. Many sannyasis, many sadhus are there. But they know, they engage in the loving devotional service, and when they speak, so it's there is no difference between what is mentioned into the scriptures, what is mentioned into the there's no difference. They are completely speaking out of out of that realizations, that realized knowledge. There are so many examples out there. There was one time in a Guruvayur temple, there was a great sage. His name is known as Pundanam. Pundanam Nambudripad was just saying like this. In Vishnu Sahasrama, there is a word called Amara Prabhu. Amara Prabhu means, he is beyond these material qualities. So Pundanam was just saying, instead of Amara Prabhu, Mara Prabhu. Out of his realization, out of this everything. Mara Prabhu means he is also part of this material nature. Others were actually kind of, he made it, they thought that he made a wrong statement. They started to teach him. And then Pundanam was a little disappointed, all these others with scholarly people, they just, making the grammar and out of it. Pundanam was saying, Mara Prabhu. And then that time there was a sound from the altar, from the inside, that is, I am also a Mara Prabhu. He is the Jagannath, he is the Lord of the universe. He is also a Mara Prabhu. Right. So there are lots of situations that we can see that when they speak from the realization from their heart, it's all same. There are so many examples out there. Even that I just forgetting that example. So many out there. Just by loving devotion to the Supreme, everything is revealed to the devotees. So what all we need is just just the loving devotion and that enthusiasm, that endeavor, that desire. That's all we have. Everything else is Krishna's, but all we have is that. And of course, in Bhagavad Gita also say that Krishna is the knowledge himself. Dadami buddhi yogandam yena mam upayantite. Lord is revealing. Lord is actually gives the intelligence. I am the knowledge. Sarvasya jaham mrdi sanishto madagas murdir jnanam abohanam. I am the knowledge. And I am the forgetfulness. I am the remembrance. So your explanation, Broji, yes, exactly the mercy you have. That's why you are able to engage in the bhakti by the mercy that you are getting devotees association and engaging in the loving devotional service. By their mercy, you are also getting this is mutually proportional, mutually related. Yeah, there is no sequence for Jnana or Vigyan. And if you are engaged in the Vigyan, assume that this is the mercy of Krishna. No worries. Yeah, that's just a few things.
Haribol Prabhuji. Is the example of the South Indian Brahmin who was reading the Bhagavad Gita upside down applicable here?
Yes, exactly. But I don't know. Many people says about upside down, but I heard from a few other devotees, so Brahmana is not that so dumb, like keeping the Bhagavad Gita upside down and reading it. That is maybe a little more exaggeration, but what I was listening from devotee that yes, this Brahmana was reading and Bhagavad Gita verses wrongly. I mean, in those days, 500 years back, means if you don't pronounce Sanskrit verses correctly, it has a different meaning. So the Brahmins were very particular about, pronunciation and Sanskrit reading and properly. I mean, if somebody make a mistake, they are kind of, so much kind of, they will kind of, so much teasing and so much, bad words and so many things like that. Yeah, that's true. That, is very, very appropriate, that example over there.
Yeah, I just wanted to also add one more point here. In my initial days, I asked similar question to Bhakti Vinod Maharaj. And that Maharaj, I am more interested in reading Srimad Bhagavatam or pastimes than understanding Bhagavad Gita in the initial days. So Maharaj very nicely explained that systematic study definitely will help you in advancing the path of the Krishna consciousness, because anything you read systematically, it is very, very important. Like when you are solving a math problem, you go step by step. You don't directly jump into the chapter 15 without understanding the chapter 1 or chapter 2. So very nicely explained. Then later on he told, but as long as if you don't have time, as long as you're opening any page of Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita every day and reading it without any fail, you will slowly develop a ruchi for it, and then one fine day you will be then you will force yourself to do a systematic study. Not only these 3 books, you'll be reading all of the other Srila Prabhupada books like Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Instruction. So many books Prabhupada has written for us, and your desire to read them will increase day by day. So just wanted to share this here.
Yes.
Prabhuji, hope this is more clear now.
Yeah, exactly.
And thank you for bringing this.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, I want to share my realization here. When I was reading Bhagavatam, I was reading for past 1.5 years, and Gordhan Prabhuji was always mentioning, Bimal, why don't you do? I was doing 1 mala. He was saying always, why don't you do 2 malas, at least 2 malas? And I told, no, it's not happening. I'm not feeling like doing 2 malas. But when we came across in Bhagavatam Shloka, 3rd canto, I don't remember exactly which chapter, which shloka, but it was saying very clearly, you should go and serve in the temple. The moment I read that shloka, I was there in the next day or on the same day on the temple. I told Lord, I need some service. And I see that service immediately, within 15 minutes, I got a service. And when I did a service, again, next day, I was told, I want to do more service. I got more service. And then my chanting rounds increased from 7 to 8 to 10. I'm doing currently 18. Within 1 month, from 1 round to become 18 rounds. I don't know that was. Now I'm doing currently all 18 rounds daily.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Mercy
So
comes.
this is the theoretical knowledge. It helped me to, Jnana and Vijnana was it applied to me, in this situation. But when again I go back, I was reading all these audios and with all the Guru Maharaj, he was saying about then Radha Rani and Uddhav. Uddhav is going and saying, no, Lord Krishna is there in the heart. Please realize that. Don't get depressed. But gopis are not accepting the fact of Uddhav. They're telling, no, we don't accept this. We know only one Krishna, who is always, we know how he is. He doesn't sit in the heart. So that much I came to know. That they don't have that jnana, but they have still blessings of Lord Krishna always.
Yeah, that's true. But the case of gopis, this Yoga Maya, they are exalted, and there is no doubt into that. They are very close to Krishna. That was a pastime because of the Yoga Maya. They are enacting like that way that, they are very close to. Even Yashoda Maya, even Krishna they had some kind of idea also Krishna is a great personality, but they don't want to also, because of that, the potency of Yoga Maya, and Krishna wanted that way. So they are enacting that role so that Krishna is getting more pleasure. And of course, gopis are exalted devotees. There is no comparison. One who is such a level of Krishna can become a Gopa and gopis in the Goloka Vrindavan. So, yeah, this is the bhakti. Bhakti is the top. In the bhakti, we don't care much about knowledge and that. Yes, that's the topmost level. Of course, there is as Mataji mentioned, that the systematic study always helps to reach to that level and understanding. This is the case, right? If you know something more about some person, we'll more attached to that person, right? Yes, initially we hear the main topics, main thing about that person, but then we are interested to that person, and then we come to, we try to understand more about that person so that we get more and more and more closer to that person, right? So this is the same way. Krishna, initially we hear about Krishna, then we are attracted to Krishna. Now hearing Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, we are exploring more, we are getting more closer, and then we are more interested to get more and more. When we get more, we are more interested. This is the process of bhakti. This is nothing but a bhakti. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, Premasarovar Mataji. Wonderful class and very, very wonderful discussion. Just wanted to add some example, like in case of Shabri, she did like Gyan and Vigyan. So in case of Shabri, she just did bhakti because her guru told. she was just doing her service, devotional service. She was not having any gyan. But when she met Bhagwan Ram, that time Bhagwan Ram explained Navvidha Bhakti, and first Bhakti was Satsanga she heard from Bhagwan Ram. So Gyan and Vigyan, they both go together. When we, maybe because of our Sukruti, last birth, many births, we had Gyan, and through someone, some devotees, through gurus, because it's Krishna's mercy only, and we got connected to ISKCON, and because of Srila Prabhupada and all acharyas, we are getting Gyan every day, something new from different realizations, different devotees. And then we apply in our that practically in our life, in our day-to-day life. And then because of that Gyan and Vigyan, they are bringing us up to that level so that we can progress in our bhakti. So both are sometimes like Prahlad Maharaj, he got Gyan in his mom's womb, and then he did bhakti. Means practically he just showed. But maybe for us, some people, like how Prabhuji mentioned, he is doing practically, he is doing Vigyan and then he is getting knowledge. So in some cases, same thing in Swami Vivekananda, he was very atheistic. I mean, he was not believing in God at all. But because of his Purva Janma Sukruti, his guru, Swami Paramhansa, when he met, there was one assembly, there was one like class, and that singer didn't come, and he supposed to sing. And then they asked Narendra, his name was Narendra, and he sang. And then Swami Paramahansa said, oh, so many, means I waited for you. And it was his guru. And then he blessed, he just kept his hand on his head, and he got all the knowledge of Vedas and everything. And he just, means in case of Vivekananda also, means Gyan was there, but it was forgotten. Same thing with us also. Gyan is there already, but we have forgotten, and then somehow we get that Gyan, and then we get Sukruti through devotees, through Guru Maharaj, and then we do in practical knowledge. So both are very related to each other, and then we can progress in our bhakti. So thank you so much for wonderful class and very nice discussion also. Thank you everyone. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Anybody else to add?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji. Wonderful lecture. You explained us about the Jnana and the Vijnana. How, when Jnana is realized, it gets to be Vijnana. And also good knowledge about Tript Atma and Atript Atma. Definitely we feel where we stand. Mataji, you mentioned that there in the path of realization, there are two obstacles, desire and doubt. Desire, I understand. Doubts, I just want to know that, how can we differentiate, there's so much going on inside us between a doubt that may be coming out from intelligence versus the inquisitiveness to know more about the Lord, which may be coming out from the heart, so that, we are maintaining these differences in our heart or inside us while, following the path of bhakti.
So Prabhu, first of all, thank you for, like your wonderful question. So basically, I want to understand the question. This is what you are saying. You want to know like this desire and the doubt, how they are related or how they're different. That is the question?
The desire, I understand. I mean, that definitely is obstacle. Doubt is, I'm trying to understand, there are like versions of questions that come to you. I mean, this could be coming from your heart to know more about Lord.
Yeah.
This could be inquisitiveness versus there could be something which is intelligence, questions coming out of intelligence just because you read something in the scriptures and you may want to counter it. So, that's where we get lost. Like,
Yes.
What should be maintained in our, okay.
So basically, this desire and doubt, they can be correlated also. Sometimes from this doubt also, Prabhuji, like the desire also will happen. Like sometimes the doubt will happen. Basically, we all know that what I meant is, we all know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we are actually eternal servant. And so there is no doubt in that. So what happens sometimes, like we try to become the lord of some of the entities. We try to enjoy. Then the doubt comes. From the doubts, indirectly the desire comes. So that's actually that's how they are correlated. So that's why actually I just wanted to explain that. But as long as your doubt is in a healthy way and you want to get into it, and suppose you are reading something and you have a doubt, yeah, you clarify it through some senior devotees or through some senior Maharaj. That is absolutely fine. But doubting on the constitutional position or doubting on the whatever you're like, suppose my Guru Maharaj is saying something to me, and if I'm doubting over there, then my downfall will start. So that I just wanted to share here. But basically, if you have a doubt on whatever written is Bhagavad Gita, definitely you can do clarification. The clarification with the doubt, even that way, your intelligence will increase also. But we should not doubt in such a way that it's kind of a challenging way. That should be avoided. Did I explain, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji. I think it's really the feeling inside you, the thought that brings up that question or a doubt, and that sets the difference.
Yeah.
I agree. Thank you.
Yeah, sometimes basically for the sake of asking, like some kids will be there, some atheists will be there. Basically, just like that, as challenging Prabhupada will be challenging so many questions. So that then basically they have the doubt what Srila Prabhupada is saying. So we have seen those devotees, they had a downfall, but whoever totally surrendered to Srila Prabhupada, they had a successful devotional life. Any other devotees, maybe they can add something in their realizations over here.
In the Bhagavad Gita also, right? I think it's the 7th chapter. Krishna says that doubting soul will never get their destination, not even in this life, not even either in this, not the next life. Krishna is very clearly mentioning that because of that will spoil our Krishna consciousness. Because of when we doubt, first thing the doubt is whether Krishna is there or not, right? This is the doubt. Even if we understood so many instructions on this matter, even in the 10th offenses, there are 10 offenses, and one of these offenses is that even after understanding so many instructions on this matter, even we are still having material attachment, and as Mataji mentioned, loading it over material nature, that is really, that's a doubt which Mataji is, I believe, mentioning about. So we are asking whether Krishna is there or not. Then, Krishna is not there, so I can do anything I want. These kinds of things. And this is called destructive. But there is constructive doubts that, yes, we understand, we have such a faith in Krishna. Yes, now, Krishna, we are asking the question like, yes, Ashodhamaya saw Krishna in the, in the mouth. Even Krishna, and their universe saw in the mouth. So we may ask, how is that possible? That is a good question. That is a good doubt. But rather, no, that's not possible. Krishna cannot even possible. It's not possible. That is destructive. That's a kind of doubt, right? Because of, yes, everything is possible because of the entire universe is floating on this, in this ether. Everything is floating in this ether. I was going through an article. Even it takes one light passes from one universe to the another universe, it takes 100 billion years, light years, not even 100 billion light years. You know that it takes around 8 seconds to reach the sunlight from the sun planet to the earthly planet. It takes 8 seconds, that's all. And think about it, light here, it takes reach one light from one universe to the another universe. And think about that, these universes, and there are, it says that there are millions of universes like that combined together, it's called one galaxy. And you know that how many, the scientists calculation, there are 200 trillion galaxies like that. Can you imagine the number of it? 200 trillion galaxies out there. And these galaxies actually combines together is known as clusters, right? There are millions of trillions of clusters like that. We can imagine this universe is, can we imagine even, we cannot even mind, even if you take 100 billion years, if we just mind of the speed of the mind, we cannot imagine that what is this boundary of this universe, this material universe. It's so wonderful. And then We are still scientists and all the people still atheists, there is no God, there is nothing. And everything is in place and floating on this, right? Floating on it. We can imagine that if you go to an ocean, when these waves comes in such a big force, it comes in such a big force. Think about that. This entire universe is floating in such a big potency and a force. And the total summum bonum of everything, and there is no control over anything like this. Everything is controlled. Everything is Krishna's potency. Everything is. Then even understanding all this and still we kind of doubt, oh, Krishna is not. That is very destructive. That's can take us, down to this material. So we should have this doubts of constructive doubts rather than the destructive doubts. So Maharaji was, I believe, mentioning these constructive doubts. Destructive doubts that can take us down. Wonderful, Maharaji. Wonderful discussions. Anybody else has anything to add? Any other points? Any other discussions? Okay. So I think it's time to conclude. There are a few announcements. Yes, Atlantic City Rath Yatra Maharaji also mentioned the class. And Krishna Damananda Prabhuji, our temple commander, sent the list out that there are lots of services. If anybody is interested, is as mentioned, Vimal Prabhuji has mentioned that this mercy, this don't miss the mercy. Bhakti means if anybody engages in the service of the Lord is the mercy of the Lord, nothing else. That's his millions of billions of trillions of souls out there. They are just looking for one opportunity to serve the Supreme Lord. You don't think that, this is just, all these, people are creating it, is doing that, people are coming together, they don't have any other business, they just come together, they're doing something, this thing. There are people of so many ways they are thinking, so many ways. But think about this, the Supreme Lord is the controller and maintainer for everything. Even atom is actually, within his sphere. So anything happens in this world is according to his will. And it says, mentioned that even a blade of grass doesn't move without the will of the Lord. It's the Lord's mercy, Lord's arrangement. Everything is Lord's, arrangement. So if you get an opportunity just to serve the Lord in any way, think about you're serving the Lord. It's Lord's mercy, Lord's wishes that this devotee is pious, sincere. Yeah, let him do this service. So it's naturally come to our mind. Krishna is sitting at our heart. Yeah, if you hear about that, there is a service. This comes to our mind. Yeah, let me do the service. Who is actually inciting this? Krishna. He knows that this devotee is good, this pure soul, and let him do my service. So he is granting everything. So all we need is actually our desire. So if you have then think about it. If you have some desire, definitely Krishna will fulfill that. So we should have that desire. I mean, that should come from us, that desire to serve the Lord. That's what his Lord is looking for. So we have that sincerity, desire, pure devotion, and definitely, we'll have that opportunity to always do the service to the Lord. So don't miss any opportunity comes, don't miss to serve the Lord, serve the devotees. It's no different. Bhagavad is two. Krishna the Bhagavan and the Bhagavad the devotees. So please engage in the service of the Lord and the devotees. So please try to do as much as possible because of this is the way we can purify our existence in this world. This is the only way. There is no other way. This is the only way we can purify our existence in this world. And then when we, leave this body, we completely take our spiritual body, consciousness and spiritual body. We go back to Krishna and serve him directly I mean, of course, we are serving directly all the time, but more closer. So take that service. Anybody is interested, please, reply back to Krishna Amananda Prabhu or anybody, any of us. Mataji is out there in Radhayatra, and Mataji is over there. Contact Mataji for any services. There are decorations out there, and prasadam cooking, and also Premasarovar Mataji, are we making some kaja packets every year? We make. Mataji, are you there?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Sorry, I was talking on mute. Yeah, I will send out a note for making cookies, and we might pack some dry nuts on Friday in the temple or Thursday in the temple. So I will send an email or WhatsApp messages tomorrow on that.
Right. Yeah. So please join Mataji to get some prasadam, and this is a Mahaprasadam offered to Jagannath and giving out to the people. It's called Sugurdi. I mean, these people, those who are coming over there, of course, I mean, they may not have this, Krishna consciousness, but by this prasadam, it can transform them, right? As all this can transform them. Gradually, they get a Sugurdi, so they may get a human birth in their next lifetime, and some way or other, they will be connected to the Supreme. So please engage some way or other, as Krishna says that there is no loss in this process. There's always gain. There is always gain. There's no loss at all. Yes, we may not realize because of, yes, we have so much of things to do in this world, but the first and the foremost, the top priority of our life is actually to realize this and engaging in the service. So then, if Krishna Bhagavad says that if we water the root of a tree, then the entire tree is actually nourished. So that's the first thing. If you engage in the loving devotional service, everything else will be automatically, Krishna will make sure that he will arrange in such a way that we don't even realize how it's all happened. If you look back in our life, and that's what it is, it's only Krishna's mercy, nothing else. So please engage and also join the Radhayatra on 17. And we are, think about it, actually, the devotees out there, they're taking such a step, that taking everything, going to the Atlantic City in this hot summer, for what? Yes. So Krishna's arrangement, and the devotees take these steps, like such dear devotees, like Pandavas. They were wandering in the forest most of their life. So it's this arrangement of Krishna, so that its message of Krishna is spreads out in all world. So please engage in the Radhayatra on 17th, and engaging the loving devotional service of the Lord. That's the Vigyan, that's realized knowledge. Okay, I think let's conclude. If there is nothing else, anybody has any other questions regarding the Radhayatra or any other logistic? Okay, so if there is nothing else, let's conclude then. Let's pay our obeisance to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. Speak together. Vancha kalpatarubhasya
kripa sindhubhyevacha
patidanam
pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
vaishnavebhyo
namo
namo
namaha.
Vaishnavindi ki jai.
Viraj
Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Prabhupada
Ki jai.
Vaishnava
Nanda ki jai.
Hari
Hari. Thank you, Premasarovar Mataji. Thank you, everyone. Wonderful discussion. Hari Bo.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.